Gather around. It's time for the show to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is...
Hey everyone, my name is Jason.
Hi friends, it's Desiree Josen.
All right, there were so many matches this year that were just too much.
So this won't be a shocker because we've had a handful of really awesome matches that we just can't stop talking about.
How many times have these guys fought? Like it's been quite a bit.
I've been saying this all year. They're just so great to watch. We saw the heel turn coming, and then when it happened, nice and bloody, both dramatic and beautiful.
You are now entering the ring with Chutes and Ladders podcast.
Chutes and Ladders, AEW Dynasty review. What's going on, everyone? My name is Jason.
Hi, friends. It's Desiree Josen.
All right, we're just going to roll right into this. Before we get into it, what is Dry Tea, Des?
I was shocked. From what I could see and even the reviews, it was a pretty decent pay-per-view with really good matches. A couple fell flat, but we'll be going over that. But yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, we're going to roll right into the first match. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. What do you think about this?
What I saw from it, I liked it.
Yeah.
And Kevin Knight, he's new to AEW, and for him to be opening a pay-per-view with Will Ospreay is huge. And I felt like they put on a pretty good match, a lot of counters, and I feel like he was put over by Will. And either way, if he won or lost, which we knew Will was going to win, it was a pretty damn good match. I give it an A.
Yeah, same here. Anything with Ospreay usually gets an A, but to your point, for him to put over Kevin Knight is huge, and maybe down the line, Kevin Knight might be a star.
Yeah, yep.
All right, so rolling right into the next match, Hurt Syndicate versus Branches of Learning. What do you think about this?
These two I'm not a big fan of. I feel like their tag team division has kind of dropped in the past few months or even within the past year. So I mean, it's okay. I wasn't really impressed by much with this, besides seeing MJF come out and hit Big Bill with his ring, and that was really it. So nothing too spectacular, just a bunch of big guys bumping around. I give it like a B-, nothing crazy.
I think B- is a fair grade. I'm actually with you. I'm not the biggest fan either, and I think that was definitely the spot of the night with MJF. Yeah. All right, cool. Next match, Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart. What do you got?
We already know I'm not that crazy about Mercedes, but I really like Julia Hart, and I felt like she was really strong in the beginning. And it was okay. It was a decent one. And of course, Mercedes wins, so it is what it is when it comes to that. So, I give it like a B.
Yeah, I think a B is a fair grade. I'm kind of with you. This kind of was just a match that was thrown out there. It wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't the best. All right, moving on. Death Riders versus Rated FTR. What do you think about this?
We saw this coming with some heat drawing between FTR and Adam Copeland, so we knew something was going to happen. We just didn't know if it was going to be last night or not. I mean, with the Death Riders, we're still confused on what they're doing. And I really thought that Rated FTR was going to win just because of how the crowd was pushing for him. But I guess no surprise there that the Death Riders won, but it was the ending where FTR turned on Adam Copeland, and I guess that's the end of them. So, yeah. So it was okay. I give it like another B.
Yeah, I'm with you. Sadly, I think both of us had higher expectations on this match. It didn't actually fulfill those expectations, but yeah, I think a B is a fair grade.
Yeah.
All right, Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne. Let's talk about this.
I liked this, and I felt like this was a good counter for Toni is Megan's size, and that's something that they played into was her size, and Toni sold a lot for her, which was really great to put her over too. I like the interference with, who was it, Luther and Penelope Ford came out and was distracting there, but then Toni won with just a cradle, not even a finisher, so it leaves a lot open for Megan, and just really I think it helped her shine even more. So I give it an A.
Sounds good. I'm going to give this an A too. Usually Tony Storm always rises to the occasion. Would you say this is the match of the night?
It could be
Eh.
second, or it could be tied with another one.
All right, sounds good. Okay, Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. Let's run over this.
This one, it was a good physical match. They're both gritty guys. I know Kyle had like a really nasty power bomb on the apron with Mark, so that was a cool spot. But yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy for me. I give it like a B.
Yeah, same. Again, another kind of just match that was kind of out there. It wasn't bad, and they both were physical, but yeah, I think a B is a fair grade.
Yeah.
All right, Jericho versus Bandito. What about this?
We got what we wanted.
Yeah.
Jericho lost finally, and that is just respectfully, we are big fans of Chris Jericho. However, just he's moving a little bit slower. It's feeling a little bit sloppier, at least in my point of view of watching some of his matches. So it's just slowing down the younger talent, at least. But I'm glad Bandito won.
Same.
They did like a restart, and he hit him in the face with a boot, which was fun to see. So yeah, I'm glad he won. I give it a B.
Yeah, I think a B is fair. And again, listen, it's better to have Bandito have the title. Maybe he gets a mini run. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole. A lot of people were giving this some pretty high remarks.
Yeah. Well, they work really well together, I feel. They just match each other's talent and size. And I feel like that's so complimentary, and they've worked with each other for so many years that they have that natural chemistry. But I really liked how Adam Cole sold the ankle injury. Yeah, I wasn't really on one side or the other. I'm okay with Daniel Garcia and with Adam Cole. So, either way, but I figured Adam would win. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Maybe like an A-, B+ on that end.
I would say an A- is pretty fair. I think to your point, they do work well together, which put on a good show. So I think A- is a fair grade.
Yeah.
Okay, Kenny Omega versus Ricochet versus Mike Bailey.
Now, this is the one that I would say was match of the night.
Sure.
It could be a runner for match of the year, or at least one of their best matches so far for 2025. Of course, Ricochet is the heel, and they were just like slapping him. I felt like Mike and Kenny were just picking on Ricochet, which was great, and hitting his bald head, and just fun. And then Mike did really well, and this was his first pay-per-view, so that was a huge thing too. Really cool spots. They're high flyers, super athletic, and very smooth start to finish. So I give it an A.
Yeah, I give this an A. Before when we did our preview, we actually said that there were going to be a lot of high spots in this match. We were absolutely right. So yeah, I think I'm kind of with you. I think this or the Tony Storm would be match of the night.
Yeah.
Okay, last and probably least, Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland. Yeah, I think this is another underwhelming performance that we wanted Swerve to win. It didn't happen. So, what do you got?
I'm starting to think this is all on purpose, just to aggravate us. We were all wanting Swerve. We're like, okay, it's a done deal. It's been a rough 6+ months. Here we go. And even with Hangman coming out, and yeah, it's just not what I wanted. And then even Swerve, I felt was kind of off. Like even at the end, he was standing on the top turnbuckle about to do his finisher, and it was just a really long, awkward pause. And then with the Young Bucks coming out, that completely turned me off. And it completely overshadowed everything. So now are the Elite and the Death Riders together to be the Elite Death Riders. And then it overshadowed the whole thing with Hangman Adam Page. And I would love to see him and Swerve work together. But it's just all over the place. There is no cohesive storyline here. So I'm just curious how they're going to put this together and explain themselves on Dynamite. So I give it like a C. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a C too. I think that's the lowest graded match that both of us have on this card.
Yes.
And this is for the world title. And again, this is the second straight pay-per-view where the world title match has underwhelmed, which is sad.
Yeah, it's just disappointing.
All right. Now, what is your final grade? What are your final thoughts?
Like I said, it was pretty decent. I appreciate that they're focusing more on title matches instead of just random matches. Granted, I feel like the Owen Hart tournament ones, there were 3 of those. Those didn't need to be in there. That could have been a Dynamite kind of episode match. But besides that, everything else was pretty solid. It made sense to me. A lot of good feuds, minus that world title, but I'm gonna give it a B.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a B as well. The other cool thing I would say about AEW, as much as we complain about their pay-per-views not being on the app, which it should, the pay-per-views are actually pretty solid overall, with the exception of just excess matches, which they can obviously trim short and put on the weekly shows, and sadly the world title matches. But everything else, I would say the pay-per-views are actually, they're watchable and they're enjoyable. So hopefully they get on the app, and hopefully they can kind of tweak that.
Yeah, it's good quality stuff. It's just a lot.
All right, that actually wraps up this episode. What are your thoughts on Dynasty? Please DM us at the Chutes and Ladders. Like always, please like, share, and subscribe both on YouTube and Spotify. Once again, my name is Jason.
I'm Desiree Josen.
Okay, until next time, have a blessed day and a blessed week.
Bye, friends.
Chutes and Ladders. Follow us for more content.